good. Thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for
My
taking
pleasure.
the time. People know you from Rage and Audio Slave, but you've been at this Night Watchman thing for a bit now,
For quite some
right?
time, yeah.
How did it all get started?
It was actually during the early days of Audioslave. This was like in 2001 and 2002. It dawned on me that while I enjoyed very much playing an Audioslave, that it was not going to be a vehicle to express my worldview. So I also was at the time heavily getting into folk music and discovering the music of Woody Guthrie, and I'd always been a fan of like the Bruce Springsteen Nebraska record and the early Dylan records. I've always been a fan of heavy music, and first that manifested itself in metal and then in punk and hip hop. But I realized that some of those Johnny Cash songs and those early Dylan songs, they're as heavy as anything in the Slayer catalogs. That's what drew me to the genre. I started playing at open mic nights. I'd never really sung before. And while I contributed to the lyrics in the bands I was in, I was never the principal lyricist. So while we were on tour with Audioslave playing these big arenas, on nights off, I'd look through the local paper and find open mic nights and coffee houses and country and western bars. And like one day we'd be playing the I don't know what it's called now, the Molson Amphitheater, the Dunkin' Donuts Amphitheater, whatever the thing. Whoever bought the name to that thing now. I'd be playing that one night, and the next night playing in front of 12 people in a latte machine. And
Wow.
but even at those very early shows, I felt a great connection to the body of material that I was writing, and there were some nights where it felt like the most intense connection I've ever had with an audience in any of my bands.
You mentioned when you were playing Tom Joad, or just before you played Tom Joad, that it was the first song that you realized you could break from the folk thing and do the electric thing. This is the fourth record,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you released the EP.
Yeah.
Is it feeling more comfortable now? Like it sounds way different on record.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That does. Is it feeling comfortable now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the 14th record
Yeah,
of my
yeah.
career and the fourth Night Watchman. I've now made as many Night Watchman records as Rage Against the Machine records.
Right.
So if I'm not going to be comfortable in my own skin by now, I may never be. It was really important with the first Night Watchman records to have it be a very, to have there be a firewall between my electric guitar work. I just wanted to establish something completely different, but
Right.
I've done that. And so now I feel comfortable playing the guitar shreddery with the acoustic songs.
You've gone Dylan, and now you've gone electric Dylan.
That's right. Well, there was when I first went acoustic, it was kind of like Dylan in reverse at Newport.
Right.
Like there
Yeah,
were
yeah,
people from the Rage and Audioslave camp shouting Judas at the shows. But now I've given them some of the spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down.
You touched on it, and it's a beautiful song or story, actually, Worldwide Rebel Songs. But so that really happened, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't make that. It's a good.
It's a
I can write
crazy
fiction
story.
like that.
Yeah. So
their
what
struggle still goes on. I mean, they have not. They're still out of work and still fighting to get back to work.
It Begins Tonight is this huge rock tune with the Bo Diddley beat. Is that on purpose that you wanted to come out with a big song like that?
Yeah, that was It Begins Tonight was written explicitly as a song to open the set, with the electric band shows, with the Freedom Fighter Orchestra shows. And I wanted, I'm not afraid of the big gesture. It's a song that kind of is a Night Watchman mission statement and has a big guitar solo in it too, to let you know this is not your grandfather's Night Watchman album.
When you set out to write now, are you setting out to write acoustic, and those are acoustic songs, or you set to write electric songs, or a combination?
I write everything on the acoustic. I always
Yeah.
only write on the acoustic. And with this record, I kind of let the songs. I recorded this in my home studio, so I had a little more time. No, the other records have been made within a week, so I had a little more time to let the songs become the songs they wanted to be, rather than saying this is going to be a rock song. This is going to be just get the band in the studio. And so with some songs, tried vastly different arrangements over the course of a few days before finally settling with it. It's important to me to keep the core of the Night Watchman stuff is dark matter, though. It's like it's not ever going to be a Judas Priest album, though I love Judas Priest. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But the acoustic stuff, and I think there's a great weight to it when in that silence. If you get the right lyrical couplet and the right quiet, it can be pretty devastating.
One of those devastating songs on the record is "Save the Hammer for the Man," and it's really, Ben Harper contributes some work to it.
Yeah.
How did you and Ben hook up? And
Well, Ben's been a friend for a long time, and he co-wrote and sings lead. The Carl Restivo part was the Ben Harper part of that, and plays guitar in as well. Ben and I have been friends for some time, and it was actually we were on doing a thing called the Justice Tour, which I leave for in a couple days, which is an annual event where I bully my friends via BlackBerry into coming and playing shows for free for people in need across the country.
Wow.
So Ben was very happy to do that. He didn't take any bullying. But we were in Chicago, and we were playing this union show, and we were having some problems with some of the other musicians. Like somebody needed money to do it, and somebody wasn't going to come because they were running a vineyard somewhere. So Ben and I were on the phone kind of grousing. And Ben's like, dude, let me know if you want me to put the hammer down. I said, Ben, save the hammer for the man. And that was, we were like,
there you go.
one day there will be a song.
And some of those shows, the Uniontown EP comes
Yep.
from your time in Madison,
Yep,
Wisconsin,
yep,
right?
yep, yep.
And I don't want to, up here in Canada, we don't have to, fortunately, worry about all your U.S. bullshit with the Republicans and the Democrats. But
Yeah.
that's something that's really important to you, and certainly specifically that cause, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I've been a member of Musicians Local 47, for 22 years. I'm a member of the Industrial Workers of the World too. But maybe more importantly was some of the latest austerity measures in the United States and the attacks on unions are geared towards public service employees like teachers and firefighters. And my mom was a public high school teacher for 30 years in a small town in Illinois. And while we were a one-parent family and never had a lot of money, we always had enough food on the table because she was a union high school teacher. So when these right-wing governors are coming after people like funded by billionaires are coming after people like my mom to take food off their children's table, I take it very personally.
Right. LA Rising Festival happened a couple weeks ago, and I guess it marked, 20 years
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
band
just
being
August
together?
20th or August 21st was the 20th anniversary of Rage Against the Machine.
It would be wrong of me not to ask what's happening with Rage, and if
You can't help yourself. No one
Yeah,
can. I've been doing interviews all day.
yeah.
They can't help themselves. It's fine. You won't be singled out for a snide
Shunned.
comment. Yeah.
what's happening. I just leave it at that.
It's so funny. It's like I think in each interview, like they're waiting for me to slip up and go, the new record's coming out on Tuesday. Oh shit, I let it out. Oh my gosh. Then they get the scoop. That's what. Seriously, I think.
I'm not looking for
we'll
scoop,
let you
I'm
know if there's there's we had a great time. We're playing one show this year, so clearly we're touring at a gentlemanly pace.
Right.
And my hope is that there are more shows in the future. There's nothing booked. There's no studios booked. There's no concerts booked. But everybody gets along great, and we had an awesome time playing LA Rising. It was really phenomenal. The band's been in existence for 20 years, and with a break in the middle. But we went from very, very humble beginnings to playing the biggest room in California.
I would imagine with so much in the political milieu in the States that Zach and you have something to say, and that's why I guess people are wondering, and now more than ever that maybe there's an opportunity for that band to bring people together.
I can't speak to. I mean, all I know is that I continue. There's from Greece to Spain to the UK. Cities are inflamed due to the austerity measures. Arab Spring has now become Arab Summer and moving into Arab Fall. Universities in Chile and Colombia right now are rioting because students are being taken advantage of there. And so, Worldwide Rebel Songs is my kind of preemptive strike. On 2012. So.
What's coming up after the record comes out? Worldwide Rebel Songs drops tomorrow.
Like tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're doing
touring.
Some
I'm touring it's alternately touring with the Freedom Fighter Orchestra and doing solo tours as well. We've got some dates on the East Coast, and this year's Justice Tour begins, playing the glamorous hot spots of Flint, Michigan, back to Madison, Wisconsin on Labor Day, and Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow. You're taking your talents to Cleveland as opposed to taking your talents to South Beach.
Yeah. We actually just played there the other day, and I didn't really understand the intensity of the LeBron thing. I made some snide reference, and the place went wild.
It's like bringing up the Republicans in Madison.
Yeah. I intend to do that too.
Thanks so much for taking the time. I know that we all really appreciate you coming and playing for us.
Thanks very much.
And thanks for keeping up doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I
it.
appreciate your thoughtful questioning and everybody getting out of their seats to join me during Worldwide Rebel Songs. It was really cool. Thanks, everybody. Cheers. Thanks.